Let your actions speak louder than your begging. You've begged enough. Begged for respect. Begged for love. Begged for validation. Begged for life to be easier. And what has it given you? Nothing. Because life doesn't respond to begging. It responds to blood. It responds to sweat. It responds to proof. The world doesn't care about your words. It doesn't care about your tears. It doesn't care about how badly you say you want it. It only cares about one thing: execution. Begging is weakness disguised as hope. You think you're asking the world for mercy, but what you're really doing is announcing to everyone that you're not willing to pay the price. You beg because you want shortcuts. You beg because you fear sacrifice. You beg because deep down, you know you've been running from the man you're supposed to be. And life looks at you, cold and silent, and says, "Prove it." Your words mean nothing. You tell people you're going to change. You tell yourself you'll be disciplined. You tell her you'll become better. You tell the world you'll rise. But when the alarm goes off at 5 a.m., you hit snooze. When temptation whispers, you fold. When pain knocks at your door, you hide. Do you think the world doesn't notice? Do you think the people around you can't see through your talk? Do you think your soul isn't keeping score? Every time you talk without action, you weaken your spirit. Every time you promise without proof, you erase your credibility. Every time you beg without building, you become more of a ghost in your own life. Actions are the only language reality understands. A seed doesn't beg the soil to grow. It breaks itself open, bleeds into the dirt, and pushes upward against impossible odds. A lion doesn't beg for respect. It moves with authority, hunts with precision, and bleeds for its pride. The storm doesn't beg to be feared. It is fear. So why are you still talking? Why are you still explaining? Why are you still hoping somebody else sees what even you haven't proven? The humiliation of begging. Every time you beg, for love, for attention, for respect, you're silently admitting, "I don't believe I can earn this." And that is the most dangerous lie a man can ever tell himself. Because once you convince yourself you're unworthy, you stop fighting. You stop building. You stop moving with purpose. And instead, you lower yourself into the dust, praying for scraps. But here's the truth nobody tells you. The world will give you scraps if you act like a beggar. But it will give you everything if you act like a king. Not because it owes you, but because you proved yourself worthy of it. Respect is never asked for. It is taken. You don't ask a man to respect you. You embody discipline so ruthlessly that he has no choice but to. You don't beg a woman to love you. You become so locked into your purpose, so unshakable in your mission, that her admiration becomes automatic. You don't plead for success. You grind in silence, you bleed when nobody is looking, you sharpen your craft until the universe itself has to bow to your persistence. Respect isn't about words. It's about weight. And only actions carry weight. Why most men fail. Most men never rise because they confuse movement with progress. They talk big. They plan. They dream. They post quotes online. But when it's time to put blood in the dirt, they disappear. They want the reward without the work. They want the crown without the cross. They want recognition without the scars. So they beg. They beg for luck. They beg for handouts. They beg for validation. But nobody remembers beggars. The world only remembers builders. The silence of action. There's something terrifying about a man who doesn't explain himself. Who doesn't brag. Who doesn't announce his every move. He just acts. He just builds. He just bleeds. And then, one day, when the world least expects it, he stands on top of the mountain. Not because he begged to be there, but because he bled to be there. The man of silence is dangerous. Because while everyone else was begging, he was sharpening his blade. And when it's time to strike, he doesn't need to say a word. Discipline over desperation. Begging is desperation. Action is discipline. Desperation says, "Please choose me." Discipline says, "I choose myself." Desperation says, I hope things get better. Discipline says, I will make them better. Desperation waits. Discipline moves. And the man of discipline is unstoppable. Because while everyone else is waiting for mercy, he's creating momentum. Pain is your proof. Nobody cares how much you say you want it. But they'll care when they see how much pain you're willing to endure for it. Pain is the great equalizer. The filter that separates the pretenders from the real ones. You can fake words. You can fake confidence. But you cannot fake suffering. When they see you bleed, and keep moving. When they see you suffer, and stay silent. When they see you sacrifice, and never complain. That's when they know. You're not a beggar. You're a builder. Build your life so loud that you never need to explain yourself. Let your habits speak. Let your discipline speak. Let your results speak. Let your silence speak. And when you walk into a room, people won't remember what you said. They'll remember what you've become. They'll feel it in your presence. The weight of your discipline. The sharpness of your focus. The depth of your scars. Because actions echo louder than any speech. And blood speaks louder than any words. Final truth. Stop begging. For love. For respect. For opportunity. For life to go your way. Shut your mouth. Stand up. And bleed. Bleed through the grind. Bleed through the discipline. Bleed through the silence. Because in the end, nobody cares what you say. They only care about what you prove. And when the dust settles, when the weak have all quit, when the talkers have all disappeared, you'll be standing there. Not because you begged for it, but because you bled for it.